Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive into something super interesting and sometimes a little bit tricky,
Oh, yeah.
the whole world of secrets in relationships, like
Yeah.
how they form, why people keep them, the impact they have.
Exactly.
And we've got some really insightful source material to help guide our conversation.
Absolutely.
So we're kind of on a mission here today. We want to help you understand why secrets pop up in the first place and the ripple effects they can have on your connections with others.
Right.
But most importantly,
Yeah.
we want to give you some actionable tools and insights so you can build those rock-solid relationships that are built on trust.
Absolutely. Open communication, vulnerability.
Yeah, like how do you get there?
Yeah.
How do you avoid all those pitfalls? So let's just jump right in. I think one of the things that struck me right away was how
Yeah.
our source material doesn't just focus on like the big dramatic secrets.
No.
Like, this huge betrayals or massive lies. It also talks about the more subtle, everyday secrets that we might not even realize are impacting our relationships.
That's a really good point. It's not always about those big bombshells.
Right.
Sometimes it's those seemingly small things.
Yeah.
Like, that little purchase you made that you don't tell your partner about.
Oh, totally.
Or maybe you downplay a worry you have because you don't want to burden them.
Yeah.
But, even those little things, those can create distance too.
They add up.
They do.
Yeah, and what I found interesting was our source material actually lists a bunch of different reasons why people keep secrets.
Oh, interesting.
And some of them are pretty relatable, like fear of confrontation. I mean, let's be honest.
So absolutely.
Nobody really enjoys having those tough conversations.
Right.
Especially if you think it's going to lead to an argument or hurt feelings.
Totally.
But then you also have things like shame and guilt. Maybe you did something that you regret,
Right.
or you're embarrassed about something. And sometimes you keep secrets because you genuinely think you're protecting someone.
Yeah, you don't want to worry them.
Exactly. You're like, oh, they don't need to know about this.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, you have secrets that are,
A little heavier.
a little bit heavier. Yeah, like infidelity,
Yeah.
financial problems, addiction, those kinds of things.
Right. Those can have some serious consequences.
Yeah, they can really shake the foundation of a relationship.
Absolutely. And that actually brings us to a really important point.
Okay.
It's not always about the size of the secret,
Oh,
but the motivation behind it and the potential impact it can have.
so it's not just about like what the secret is.
Right.
It's the why and the potential fallout.
Exactly. Like, take that example from the source material about Sarah,
Oh.
who had this secret credit card debt.
Oh, yeah, Sarah.
She was racking up all these charges,
Wow.
but she kept it hidden from her partner.
Why?
Well, she was terrified of a fight.
Oh.
She didn't want to disappoint him or have him judge her spending habits.
So she thought she was protecting the relationship by keeping it a secret.
Exactly.
But ironically,
Yeah.
that secret ended up creating way more stress in the long run.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
The constant worry of getting caught,
Right.
the guilt,
Well,
the pressure, like it takes a toll.
it really does.
And it's a classic example of how avoiding vulnerability out of fear can completely backfire.
It's so true. It's like we think we're protecting ourselves or our partner, but in reality, we're just creating a bigger problem down the line.
It's like you're digging a hole and hoping nobody notices it, but eventually someone's going to fall in.
Exactly. And it can be so hard to climb out of that hole once you're in it.
Right. It makes you wonder, like, how often are we keeping secrets because we're afraid of being judged or rejected?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, it's so human right.
It's natural.
But man, it can be so detrimental to our relationships.
It really can. And this is where we start to see those damaging effects come into play.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
So think about it. Even those small secrets can chip away at trust.
Right, because if you're not being completely honest, it's like there's this little crack in the foundation.
Exactly. And that crack can widen over time, especially if more secrets pile on top of it.
It's like a slow leak in a tire.
Yeah.
You might not notice it at first,
Right.
but eventually you're going to end up with a flat,
Exactly. And then you're stranded.
stuck on the side of the road.
Exactly.
And the source material doesn't shy away from those big secrets either.
Oh, no.
Like the story of Mike's infidelity really hits home.
Yeah.
It shows how certain secrets can just shatter trust,
They can be devastating.
leaving those deep wounds that are so hard to heal.
Absolutely.
And it emphasizes that while all secrets can impact relationships, some have a much more profound and lasting effect.
Right. Some secrets cut deeper than others.
Yeah, and it's not just about the immediate damage, it's the lingering doubt that it can create.
Oh, absolutely. The trust is broken and it's so hard to rebuild.
You're always kind of wondering, okay, what else are they hiding?
Exactly. You start
Yeah.
questioning everything.
Yeah, which is why it's so interesting to consider the insights from experts like Dr. Sue Johnson,
Oh, she's brilliant.
Dr. John Gottman, and Dr. Esther Perel.
Yeah, all pioneers in the field of relationships.
And they all say this over and over again.
What's that?
Honesty and vulnerability are the foundations of healthy relationships.
They're essential.
And there's this one quote from Dr. Perel that really stuck with me.
Oh, I love Esther Perel. What did she say?
She said, "Secrets lead to isolation and disconnection."
Wow, that's powerful.
Isn't it?
It is.
And it really paints a clear picture of what happens when we close ourselves off from our partner.
It's like you're building walls instead of bridges.
Exactly. And we all crave connection, right?
Absolutely. We're wired for it.
So secrets are almost like these barriers that prevent us from experiencing that true intimacy.
They get in the way of that deep connection.
Yeah, and I think that resonates with so many people because we've all been there.
We've all felt that pang of loneliness when we're holding something back.
Or when we sense that something's not quite right.
Exactly, that feeling of disconnect. It can be really unsettling.
So the big question is, what can we do about it?
Yeah.
How do we build those open, honest relationships where secrets don't have to fester and cause damage?
Right, because it's one thing to talk about the problems, but we need solutions too.
Absolutely. And the good news is, our source material offers some really practical advice.
Oh, that's great. I'm eager to hear it.
And the first one that jumps out is open communication.
Yeah, it sounds simple enough.
It does, but it goes way deeper than just talking to each other.
How so?
It's about expressing your feelings authentically,
Yeah, being vulnerable,
being vulnerable even when it's scary.
which can be really tough sometimes.
It can,
Yeah.
but it's also about truly listening to your partner, like really hearing what they're saying without judgment.
Active listening, being present.
Yes, being present and engaged.
That's so important.
And it's not just about spilling all your secrets like word vomit.
Right, it's not a confession booth.
It's about creating a safe space where you both feel comfortable being honest and open without fear of repercussions.
Creating a culture of trust and understanding.
Exactly, and that takes time and effort from both partners.
Absolutely, it's a two-way street.
You got to be willing to meet each other halfway.
And speaking of trust, that's another key ingredient.
Yeah, trust is like the glue that holds everything together.
It really is. Without trust, it's hard to build anything meaningful.
And building trust takes consistency.
Mhm.
It takes showing up for each other, being reliable, and following through on your promises.
Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it also means learning to resolve conflict constructively.
Because arguments are inevitable.
They are. No matter how much you love each other, you're going to disagree sometimes.
Right. You're two different people with different perspectives.
And that's okay.
It is.
It's how you handle those disagreements that matters.
So it's not about avoiding conflict.
No.
It's about learning to fight fair.
Yeah, the source material calls it fighting fair,
Uh-huh.
which I love.
I like that too. It implies respect and a willingness to understand each other's point of view.
And sometimes that means taking a break, cooling off.
Absolutely. Sometimes you need to step away and come back to the conversation when you're both calmer.
And sometimes it means seeking help from a therapist.
Yeah, therapy can be such a valuable resource.
Especially when you're dealing with deeply rooted issues or past hurts that are impacting your current relationship.
It provides a safe and neutral space to work through those challenges with the guidance of a professional.
And this is where it gets even more interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
The source material also emphasizes prevention strategies.
Prevention, I like that.
Yeah, so it's not just about fixing things after they break.
Oh.
It's about proactively creating a relationship where secrets are less likely to appear in the first place.
So building a foundation that discourages secret keeping.
Exactly.
I love that approach.
And one of the key ingredients here is emotional intelligence.
Oh, that's so important.
It's about being aware of and managing your own emotions.
Right? Self-awareness.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're not just reacting impulsively, but you're responding thoughtfully.
And being able to understand your partner's emotions too.
Yes, empathy.
Empathy is huge.
It's about putting yourself in their shoes, trying to see the world from their perspective.
And that creates a more understanding and compassionate environment
It does.
where you're both more likely to communicate openly and honestly.
It's like you're building a foundation of trust and empathy from the ground up so you can navigate those inevitable challenges together, honestly and openly.
I love that analogy. It's like creating a safe haven where vulnerability is welcomed and secrets don't have to hide in the shadows.
Yeah, and I think that's a powerful takeaway from all of this.
It is.
Secrets Even those kept with good intentions can chip away at the foundation of a relationship.
They can create distance, doubt, and distrust.
But by prioritizing open communication, building trust, and fostering emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
we can create those strong and healthy connections that we all crave.
Absolutely. And that brings me to a question for you all listening.
Okay, let's hear it.
How can you cultivate a culture of honesty and transparency in your own relationships? What steps can you take, maybe even discuss with your partner, to strengthen that foundation of trust and openness? It's something worth pondering, as it can truly make all the difference.
Food for thought, right?
It is.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive, but wow, what a conversation.
It was enlightening, wasn't it?
It really was. I hope you all learned as much as I did.
Me too. Thanks for joining us.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.